I've been running meta ads for my brand for the past 5 years, and I'm always worried my tactics are out of date, but I don't really want to mess with my ad account too much because if it's not broken, don't fix it, right?
Yeah.
I get this a lot. People are like, I don't know, like I saw this guy said I should be doing like, one campaign and one ad set and all my creatives in there. And I saw this guy said I should have a creative testing campaign. Like, I'm just kind of doing this. What,
I like to set the stage though, that you are the expert tactical guy in this one. And I'm the Chad media buyer.
Yeah,
because that is true.
Agree.
I think Nick is a big time Chad media buyer, but that's just
with
me.
Some constraints with some, dude.
You look under the hood a lot more than I do, though.
Yeah. Structurally too. Like I think I nerd out more on. See, I still love the days of like a media buyer can influence everything.
I know.
Those are the days, and I
That was
remember
fun.
those days.
Yeah.
And now I have to realize
It's all creative.
slowly it's not the truth. Like you know, like if there's an alpha after all the other things have been covered and the bases are right, offer, page, brand, product, and then like you have a 1% media buyer on that, like they can make a difference. That's some value. But generally speaking, for the majority of people, you want to consume content, but this is like you have to consume content with the correct frame because there's so many people you can consume from. Today I have a debate with two very polar opposite opinions about how meta ads are ran.
Yeah.
But you need to know within reason, just like baseline before John, I throw it back to you is what can I spend? What can I afford to acquire a customer on? And how many tests can I really run that doesn't put me into the deep red? Because you can listen to all this shit, but then you're gonna have to spend a bunch of money to make sure you can prove it out.
Yeah. I'm curious what you do here, Bart, because I think when you get into brand side buying, this is when this happens. When you're agency side, or like specifically when I was at Triple Whale and it's like, I open up however many of these a day, 8 to 10 of these a day. I'm like, oh, I see what people are doing.
Yeah.
And then, all of the influencers out there around account structure. So you got your Nick Theriouts, you got your Charlie T, you got your like all the people who tell you how to structure a meta ad account. Common thread, like I open those up and I see like you get good at recognizing like, oh, this is where this person learned to do account structures. Oh, this is, I'll even be able to open it up and be like, I know what agency's running this account.
That's crazy.
You just see so many of them. So when you're agency side or when you're like Triple Whale, you just see a bunch of them. And so you're never worried that your like account structure is like out of date or you're not using the most up-to-date tactics.
Mm-hmm.
But this person's like, oh, I'm brand set. And I'm like, oh yeah, you just lose all those reference points. So I'm curious, like, do you ever worry that like you're like not using the right tactics or you're just like, I just don't worry.
I don't think I'm worried about my structure because it's so simple.
Mm-hmm.
And we've never we're still heavy on mainly Meta, a little bit of TikTok, small portion on Google. And then like I just started Reddit because somebody told me to. Like it was just like, you should try to be there. And I'm trying it at a very low spend. But no, because my structure is so simple. It's like Advantage Plus, straight to website, Advantage Plus, shops and website, some DPAs, some traffic for audience growth. And then if we do like a collab or like a really special release that has a lot of SKUs,
then it gets its own campaign.
And I've never fallen out of that structure. And it's never not
in all your new
really worked for me.
In all your new creative tests, just go into your Advantage Plus campaign.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it seems like, and I could be doing this wrong. Like I might be the wrong person to ask, but like, it seems like if I have say 3 new concepts for ads, and for us, statics have always just done a lot better than video because it's a hat and we have really good hat photography. And then I just build around the framework of the hat has done better.
Yeah.
But if I feed in new creative or like new static concepts or new video concepts, it seems that Advantage Plus will take it to the better performing ad. It's not like taking a new ad and putting more spend behind it. It's taking that new ad, gauging it against what I already have in there, and then promoting it if it does do better.
Do you turn off ads at all?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, of course.
When they're not performing or when you're just out of stock or?
When they're not performing, not getting spend.
Do you have a decision-making process around it's not performing for a certain amount of time or something like that?
Yeah, usually like 10 to 14 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Here's how I see account structure, that all of the little details we talk about around account structure I've broken them down to like, this comes down to one fork in the road. All right. You could go left or you could go right. Left is you dedicate spend to every creative test. Right is you put new creative tests into campaigns that are already spending on proven ads.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And every other thing of like, oh, you should use ASC one ads, all of that is like, okay, it's just some variation of that.
Yeah.
It's some wrinkle of every creative test I put into the ad account gets dedicated spend, and I make sure I spend money on it using ad sets or new campaigns or however I do it. Or it just gets put into active campaigns and gets put next to ads that are already getting spent.
That's what I do.
Yeah. So that's just every account structure thing comes down to those two things. And as far as I can tell, either is pretty good. The right side where you're putting it into active campaigns, or you're putting them, creative tests next to in already spending campaigns or next to ads that are already spending. That seems to work really well for account stability when you don't have like really good performance, where it's like, I need to improve performance. I kind of need to do an account turnaround. A lot of times suggest that kind of structure for an account turnaround, because usually your hit rate on new creative tests is really bad. So I'm like, if you spend on every new creative test, this is going to be hard to turn this account around.
Agree.
So you're kind of going to just have to take the performance you can get and just take new shots. And then every now and it's like, okay, then we'll stabilize the performance and then we'll find something that does demand spend. So that seems to work pretty well. And that gives good stability, but then there's a little bit of a scale limitation when it's going well. And then, giving spend to every test, as far as I can tell, seems to work better when the account's more bullish and your hit rate on creative test is higher, because it just gives you more creative diversity and more spend on more creatives, right? And which gives you more audience coverage. So that's what we do at Royo, is we do dedicate spend to every test, but it's because we've had a really good account stability for a long time. And we have probably 30, 40, like, how you see a lot of ad accounts and it's like 3 ads are taking 80% of the spend. That is not the case for us.
Yeah, it's a blessing.
Yeah. So that's like kind of, I think in my mind, that's like where you want to get, where you are spending on every creative test. But your way, I think, works just fine. And it gives you good, stable performance over a long period of time.
Helps me do less.
And it helps you do less.
That's the biggest thing, is like, you look at Meta. Meta is a file system. Like, you have campaigns. Inside the campaigns, you have ad sets. Inside of ad sets, you have ads. Yeah. And it's
but it all comes down to the philosophy of, does every creative get spend, or do I put it next to winning stuff?
Yeah, you got to jump off. You got to go left or right on these things.
Yep.
And the segmentation of like organization comes down to, I think another layer after you make the decision of how I'm testing is like, okay, well, how am I making sure I'm getting decisions around this?
Yep.
Well, if the decision is like, I need to know if this offer or this AOV is the correct thing. It's hard to put multi AOVs. Like, you wouldn't put like the God pack of all hats.
Yeah.
In a existing test, because it's just a completely different consumer.
It's not
that's its own campaign at that point.
Yeah, but
exactly.
That's a logical decision. I think a lot of people are going like, oh, well, I'm going to sell a phone, and then I'm going to sell AirPods, and then I'm going to sell a MacBook. I'm like, yeah, they're all the same brand, but those are very different consumers, and those are very different buying periods, and those are very different consideration periods.
Yeah. So
you should separate that.
Different offer, different campaign, you have to dedicate spend to it. If it's going to get a wildly different AOV, or if it has wildly different margins, you have to dedicate spend.
I think people get caught up in this stuff, though.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yes, they do. Sometimes people combine them into the same campaign.
That question is like a very clear question. Like, well, how do I know I'm staying up to date on it? If the biggest test I find out is if I jump into an ad account and I can understand clearly what that it is that they're trying to do, not necessarily, it doesn't have to be on the naming convention.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, logically they're running these offers and they're running with these creative.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And if I look and I'm like, wait, the AOV is this, the CPC is this, CPMs, when they're all out of whack, usually they're combining a bunch of different experiences or landing page experiences or AOVs or various product offerings that take too long to really understand why they're doing that.
Yeah.
That to me is like a huge red flag. I'm like, dude, this is organizationally difficult to find.
I would say
maybe we should restructure this.
I would say for the most part, people should be running fewer offers unless they don't have like a good proven offer. Does that make sense?
Actually, I might even disagree on this because
for the most part, because I think at scale you should be running more offers, but I don't think most people are at that kind of scale.
Yeah, but how do you get to most people? How do you get to that scale though?
I think you can get a long way on your main proven offer. I would think people have a tendency to prematurely try more offers and like spread their account out. And then a lot of the offers don't work. And then that's how they end up in the red, where it's like, okay, once you try a new offer, mathematically, what I want is I want to be able to dedicate like 5 or less % of my spend to a new offer. And that's still a significant amount of spend that I'll be able to get data back quickly on that new offer. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But that's
So I
also
wanna be
depending on the
spending
stability of
it
the
up.
account. Like
What's
the
that?
account is in cruise control as yours is currently. It's just like, I talked to this one guy, it's like, you go into periods of feast and famine. You'd be like, I have nothing working right now. I have no choice but to spend across as many different varieties to find out what's working. And if I've tried all these creative variations, well, you're going to have to find something else that's going to convince them to make a purchase.
If you've got
from the
nothing
offer.
working, then yes, you have to try offers.
If
for sure.
everything is balanced and you're like, well, am I going to try a new avatar concept? It's just levels of like, am I doing new avatar, new concept, new page, new offer? Oh my God, that's a lot of things. Like what is working and not working.
Yeah.
Versus like, I'm just going to try new creative, or I'm just going to try new offer with proven creative. Like there's like if and statements depending on the intensity of what you need to prove.
Yeah, I usually, if nothing's working, I usually like offer. But if I do have one working, I actually just like to try offer on the other. Like I like to advertise product or advertise, like benefits, and then offer happens on the other side.
I like that. Yeah, I like that as well.
Offer happens on the page
But
side.
back to his question, like it's good to listen, but I would parking lot that. I would be like, all right, is this something that I want to consider? Is there a scenario that I actually want to deploy this in? Because each tactic discussed needs to be applied to the scenario that you're currently running in.
I'm worried my tactics are out of date. I don't want to mess with it because if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Hey, mentor.
Yeah.
Get someone over your shoulder, give you a gut check.
Yeah.
Yeah, easy. And if it's not broken, that means you got some money. If you got some money, go to Mentor Pass and hire Nick, hire me,
or
or hire
anybody,
or anybody. Yeah. And have a few people look at it. And if they say the same thing, then maybe do that. If they don't say the same thing, or if they say different things, then it's probably good. Like if they all give you different advice, then it's like, okay, then you're probably fine.
Yeah.
I've been told that before though, like on the creative end, that some of our like ads look outdated, right? But
Mhm.
if that outdated ad, I'm selling to dads, pretty simple. Like
Yeah.
we're not complicating it with a huge landing page educating you around what a hat is and all this stuff. Like I've been told that before, but the ad is just crushing. So like,
Yeah.
or like I wouldn't change that just because it feels outdated, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And same with this guy, like he might feel a little paranoia of being outdated, but if it's not broken, it's profitable and it's working, then maybe don't
Yeah.
change it.
Rule
Like I
one.
agree, like have somebody sense check you, maybe
Yeah.
talk to a friend that's a media buying and be like, hey, what do you think of this?
Yeah.
But no, I mean, you're lucky that it's not broken.
I would,
Yeah.
I generally speaking would say, well, I don't know what you mean by if it's not broken, but like if you're
Yeah.
just kind of like, yeah, the business is working fine, it's growing or whatever, then their effort is probably better
Probably
spent
looking to like crack into another
Yeah.
like
here
better return or something.
or
Yeah.
he's just like, am I falling behind? Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I generally speaking, yeah, have somebody look at it is probably the
ask
answer.
Chat
but
GPT.
Also, it's probably fine as the answer as long as you're like, oh, I'm pretty clear on how I creative test if they get dedicated spend or not, and then I'm pretty clear on how I make decisions of
Yeah.
how I cut things or
Yeah.
keep things or scale things.
I do hate the lazy answer of Ask AI, but you could put in all your information on like how things have been going over the past 6 months.
Yeah.
And put in that data and put in the types of creative you have, and you'll probably get some inputs there too.
Yeah, potentially. Basically, two questions for you. Do you know how you put creatives into the account and test them? Like, do they get dedicated spend or not? Do you know do you have a general, like, could you write down, here's how I decide to keep, cut, scale things?
Yeah.
If those two things are true, then you're probably fine.
Yeah. I've seen like simple shifts work too. Like we talked about, like sometimes it's your offer, but I've seen simple stuff like, say we're advertising a hat, and at one point I tried 3 different campaigns for 3 different hats, like solo campaigns. And then those campaigns would be filled with creative only around that hat.
Yeah.
And that seemed to perform super well too, because it was just, it's a lot more work. You're building campaign structures around one product, but if you
Yeah.
have a lot of SKUs, it's worth it. But that's a simple test, right?
Yep.
Instead of leading to like our shop all page or
Yeah.
whatever it was.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Good point.